Right now, something is happening on the Russia-Ukraine battlefield that the world was never supposed to see. Explosions lighting up the horizon, drone swarms slicing through the night sky, Russian bases being hit with terrifying accuracy, and satellite images confirming a collapse unfolding faster than any analyst ever predicted. Tonight is not like any other night of this war. Tonight, the ground is shifting, decisions are happening in seconds, and entire military positions are falling like dominoes. Analysts are stunned. Intelligence reports are leaking. And what you're about to hear is not just another news update. It is the truth behind a war that is transforming in real time. If you're watching this, don't scroll. Because the next moments reveal movements, strategies, and deep strike operations that were never meant to reach the public eye. The first signs came quietly, in the darkness. Russian soldiers reported sudden silence on the radios. No orders. No updates. Then 3 massive strikes, each one hitting a critical point within seconds. Ukraine had taken aim at a logistics hub 40 kilometers behind Russian lines. Fuel tanks burst into flames. Ammunition depots exploded. Supply trucks burned where they stood. And without fuel, without ammunition, without direction, the front line began to crumble. Russian troops were forced to abandon fortified trenches they had spent weeks building, not because Ukrainian infantry pushed them out, but because the supply chain that kept them alive had been cut in one devastating night. It wasn't luck. Ukraine had received something new, powerful, and totally unexpected, a long-range strike system capable of destroying deep targets with precision that shocked even military experts. Within hours, footage appeared, Russian command centers engulfed in fire, communication towers collapsing, armored convoys left motionless, with their engines melted to the ground. For the first time, Russian troops publicly admitted, "We had no idea what hit us." The battlefield had changed in a single night. Inside Russian military networks, confusion turned into panic. Commanders reported complete communication failure. Units were stranded with no instructions. Reinforcements couldn't reach the front. Some troops refused to advance. Others retreated, without orders. Entire battalions found themselves isolated, physically and strategically, as Ukraine broke their supply and communication backbone. A modern army had suddenly been thrown into chaos. Then came the drones. Not dozens. Hundreds. A coordinated storm of unmanned aircraft moving with silent precision. They attacked from all directions, overwhelming Russian air defenses. Soldiers were firing blindly into the sky, unsure where the drones were coming from. Armored vehicles were abandoned. Trenches filled with men trying to hide from something they couldn't see. That night, the sky didn't belong to Russia, it belonged to Ukraine. As dawn approached, Ukraine launched a high-risk mission targeting a strategic bridge critical to Russian logistics. 3 missiles streaked across the river. Seconds later, a thunderous explosion shattered the silence. The bridge collapsed into the water beneath it. Satellite images confirmed the damage. Russian supply convoys were now trapped for kilometers, unable to reach frontline troops. The slow collapse had turned into a full-scale breakdown. Russia attempted a counterattack. Tank columns moved forward. Artillery thundered. But Ukraine had intercepted their plans hours earlier. Every movement was anticipated. Ambush positions were ready. Artillery targeted empty fields. Tanks rolled into kill zones. The counterattack failed before it even began. Meanwhile, Ukrainian special forces slipped deep behind Russian lines. They destroyed radars, cut fiber lines, sabotaged communication posts, and neutralized observation towers with silent efficiency. By the time Russia realized what happened, multiple sectors had already collapsed. A major intelligence leak revealed something even more shocking. Ukraine had the precise coordinates of Russian bases days before the attacks. Analysts debated how. Satellite tracking? Intercepted calls? Foreign intelligence support? No one knew for sure. But the results were undeniable. Russian positions were being eliminated with surgical accuracy. For Russian troops at the front, artillery barrages turned into a nightmare. Precision shells landed every few seconds. Vehicles were hit before they could move. Trenches crumbled. Soldiers were cut off from support. With no supplies, no reinforcements, and no communication, many units simply abandoned their posts. Civilians in nearby towns were evacuated as the battle intensified. Convoys of buses, trains, and armored transports moved people away from danger, but Russian strikes targeted evacuation routes. Ukraine responded with drone coverage and anti-air defense screens. It became a desperate race to move families out before the next wave of strikes. The information war escalated as well. Russia insisted it was advancing. Ukraine released footage of destroyed Russian bases. Analysts worldwide debated every frame. But satellite images didn't lie. Russia was losing ground quickly. For the first time in months, the front line shifted dramatically. Entire Russian battalions retreated. Ukrainian forces advanced multiple kilometers. What looked like small changes on a map were massive defeats on the ground. The breakthrough was undeniable. Russia rushed reinforcements to the front, but they arrived too late. Ukrainian drones intercepted convoys. Artillery destroyed staging grounds. Morale among Russian troops dropped sharply. Many soldiers had no idea where their commanders were or what the plan was. The order and discipline that once held the front together began to fade. Ukraine's new battlefield strategy turned the tide. Decentralized squads, rapid movement, real-time drone intelligence, long-range precision strikes. Russia was fighting with slower, traditional techniques. Ukraine was fighting with speed and technology. And the difference was devastating. Electronic warfare intensified. GPS signals were jammed. Communication towers were disrupted. Drones were hijacked mid-flight. Both sides fought to control the invisible battlefield of frequencies. But Ukraine had the technological advantage. Russian losses mounted. Tanks burned on open roads. Command posts disappeared in explosions. Vehicles lay abandoned. Soldiers were stranded with no fuel and no ammunition. It became one of the highest loss periods Russia had seen in months. Ukraine's momentum grew with every strike. Villages were liberated. Frontline positions shifted. Captured equipment piled up. Confidence among Ukrainian units surged as Russia struggled to reorganize. The world reacted quickly. Some countries praised Ukraine's strategy. Others called for peace talks. But almost everyone agreed this was a major turning point in modern warfare. A moment that would be studied, analyzed, and remembered for years. And now the battlefield continues to evolve. New weapons. New strategies. New operations. What comes next will redefine not just this conflict, but the future of warfare itself. If you want more powerful updates like this, more deep analysis, more frontline intelligence, then make sure you subscribe, like, share, and hit the bell icon so you never miss the truth behind what's coming next.